Hello, this is Angelica and Inga, the team of Becoming Unstoppable.
And our mission is to bring you the message of hope and faith by sharing real-life testimonies of how a living God can transform the broken life, and also share some real practical advice as well. How to be strong, how to break through the difficult times, and we will touch upon difficult subjects that maybe people don't like to talk about, but they are so critical for our life, for our destiny, ultimately. And today we want to touch upon the topic of, have you heard when people share about their problem, about the situation, about difficulty, and then they say, it's not my fault. I wouldn't be where I am today if not this person, if not this accident, if not this event.
Yes, I am actually reminded of a story that I had a friend who told me about her son, is that he constantly blames everybody, how he was raised, his parents, and she says that she has 3 sons, and she gave, her husband and her gave them an equal opportunity in life. But so 2 sons have wonderful lives, and 1 son, just everything fall apart. Either it could be relationships, jobs. He can only work at a job for a couple months, and then he says that he cannot work with his boss. So his life is actually, because of what he does, that he blames everybody around him. He doesn't take the responsibility. His life is in disarray.
Crushed.
Yeah, and he can't have a good relationship with his family, with his brothers, with his parents, because anything they say, he constantly is on defense and he is always blaming them.
And it brings a lot of emotions to the family. It's very difficult.
Yes,
for the family and for the parents. They put them on a guilt trip, so to speak, and he lives in the misery, right?
Yeah, well, the entire family. They just try to avoid him, but it's the person you love. So what about in your instance when you crashed in the car? This young man was driving, he was drunk. Were you ever blaming him?
It might be very strange, but I didn't. I did not blame him. I was more, speaking with him kind of in my mind, like, where were you going? Why did you have to go 100 miles an hour in the downtown when there is ice on the road? So that was my more like conversation with him, but I never really blamed him. I never blamed God. I never blamed anybody. Somehow I had that full understanding right from the beginning that it's me who chose it. It's my own choices that led me to this crash. It's not easy to accept it. It's not easy to admit that. It wasn't. But then as I was analyzing myself, I chose to date the guy. I chose to leave my home when my mom begged me not to leave that day. I was the one who got with him. I chose to get him into that car when he was drunk. So basically, I could blame only myself. It's not anybody's fault. And when I was working on the book and I was analyzing, I was writing about it, I had this aha moment as I was writing that our life is actually a fruit, ultimate fruit of all our previous choices. We can go back, as you and I now talk, we can go back to the time when you began creating your life after you graduated, your school, and you began creating your life, your destiny, the choices that you made about where do you go further to pursue your education. How did that affect your job, your career in the further on? The relationships that you had, people with whom you were connected and with whom you spent your time, most of your time. How did that affect on your mindset, on your feelings, on your goals, on your standards? You know, personal romantic relationships, how greatly they impact our lives.
Yes,
it's absolutely, you know, it has so much power. The choice that I make with who I date, who I hang out with, how I spend my time. Do I quit when I see the, you know, the
hardship,
obstacle, the hardship, or do I pursue? Do I give up and do I blame somebody and live in misery, or do I pick myself up and say, you know what, it doesn't matter what happened, I will make my life the way I want to. All these choices, they bring you to the ultimate result at some point.
That's right.
So really, you know, when we think from that perspective, I saw that I cannot blame anybody. And you know, in my life, the car accident was basically just the beginning of my, let's say, life after. And I had so many hardships afterwards. I just don't talk about them often, but and I write about this one in the book, that my first pursuit to build my life in America did not I did not succeed. I actually had to leave America all broken or devastated because of a choice that the person did. And it was, I had a love relationship with a man. So I could, and I loved him more than even my life. I fell in love with him so much that I no longer cared about my life as much, my goals, you know. My life was all about him, and he made the choices the way he did, and I don't blame him, you know. It's just I'm describing this situation. And I was coming back home all broken and devastated because the choices that he made destroyed everything that I have built in a couple months for establishing my life in California. And I was leaving my home, leaving my California back to Lithuania, crying, devastated, and I did not even have the strength or even desire to move on in life. You know, and I could have stayed in that state, and I could have blamed him. But then, you know, as I was thinking, I fully realized that it was my choices that led me to this point of crash. It's not him. It's my choices that brought. And later on, when I had other relationships and connections with other people, their decisions impacted my life so bad that I was basically holding my life from crashing all over again. So, you know, we do have these situations when other people impact your life so much that your life crashes. But then from that point, you fully understand that it was my choice to be connected. It was my choice to do this, that, you know. You cannot blame other people. They do whatever they do. But then from that point, you fully understand that that's your choices that brought you here.
But how do you then leave that mentality of a victim? How do you get out of that and move on and change your life?
It's very difficult.
It is.
It is not easy.
Because you've been so hurt and damaged.
I was so hurt that even losing my legs was not as painful as those betrayals. It's not easy. But then again, you know, it goes back to accepting responsibility. In our life, people can do whatever they do. But then I understood that my life will be destroyed from this point on, not because of his choices that he did, but my choice to give up and let it go and blame him. Blaming is dangerous, actually. It can rob you from your dream life, because that puts you in that mentality, victim mentality, you know. It can put you in that, you know, you can take off the blame to make yourself feel easier for a moment, because the feel of guilt, it's so heavy, and we want to just take it off ourselves. So by putting the blame on somebody else, we take it off and we feel easier, it's not my fault. However, what that does, it unconsciously, it makes you feel like he or she was stronger than I am in my life. He has more impact in my own destiny than I am.
Control over your life, your destiny.
Right, right. So you lose control over your own destiny, because the blame, basically with the blame, you admit that he was stronger. He's stronger because if he made that decision and it impacted my life and I'm broken because of him, right?
Yes.
So the way to turn this around is to say, you know what? I was the one who made the choice to be with him, or I was the one, made the choice to do this or go there, not do this, not go there, whatever choice that brought you. I was the one who did this, and from that point, I'm the one who will make different decisions, different standards. I will meet with different people. I will get a different job. I will do, I will make changes in my life, and with my own choices, I will make a change in my life. Just the way I brought myself to this point with my choices, with my different choices, I will bring myself out of there.
So you take control over your life again.
You take responsibility for your actions, for your choices. With that, you will take the power away from those people who did whatever. And you take control over your life, and you say, you know what? I am setting this goal, and from now on, I raise my standards of how I spend my time, who I spend my time with. What do I do with job? Do I give up right away, or do I pursue? Do I, those kind of, with your own different choices, you can take control over your life and say, you know what? Nobody's going to break me. Nobody's stronger than me. I am living my life. Nobody is going to create my life except for me.
And don't give up when things don't work out. Be persistent, I would say.
Yes. Because giving up is one of the greatest enemies that people have in life. If I had given up when I had my obstacles, oh my God, I would live in such misery.
Yeah, you would still be locked up in your apartment back in Lithuania.
I would be miserable. And, okay, you can blame somebody, but what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point? Because it's a misery inside for carrying that blame on somebody else. That person or that, whatever event, they will not suffer. You will suffer.
Take the effort of that blaming and turn it around into something productive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You take a response. You forgive whoever you need to forgive. You let it go. Let it go. It was my choice, and just as I had choice then, I have choice now. I take control of my life, and with my creator, I will create the life that I desire, period.
But what about when people have something happen to them in their childhood and they didn't have any control or say over what happened?
Yeah.
What now, and as an adult, life is falling apart? What do you do?
Right, and and there are many destinies like that. You can't, generalize everything, right? Every destiny, every life is very unique, and they have their own story, and there are many things that happen in life that we have absolutely no control, like the weather, economy, politics, or, you're driving somewhere and somebody hits your car and you get in a crash that turns your life around.
That's right.
There are many things that we cannot control. But then, when something happens, what happens? We continue our life, right? And from that point, we take the responsibility. What do I do with it? And you hear me all the time when I say it's not what happens to us what determines our life, but what we do. And I take that from my own life. When I got into the car accident and my life totally changed overnight, and here I am locked up, imprisoned, in my home. I cannot get out. I cannot lead a fulfilling life. I cannot even get out of my room. I cannot take a shower by myself. That's how I lived. And when people were looking at it, they were saying, see, the car accident broke your destiny. This boy, this guy, young man, he crushed your life. And so, every time people would look at my life, that's the explanation that they gave. Thank God, I live a very different life now. It's nowhere close where it was, But what happens now when people see it, see my life and hear about, all the adventures that I have and the beauty that I have, over the tragedy, what I hear people say, Inga, good job. Good for you that didn't give up. Good for you that you fought. Good for you that you did not allow this or that to crush you, but you broke through. No longer blame on a car accident. So the question, if I had not done anything, if I had not initiated the change, if I had given up and led that lifestyle that the car accident created, whose fault that would be? Do you see that fine line? Would that be the car accident's fault, or would that be me?
It looks like it would be you now, right?
So it's just my own story. I can see that it's not what happens to us. It's not what people do to us. It's not how people, or when people betray us and try to break us. It's what we do with that, what happens to us. That's what determines the quality of our life. That's what we create our destiny. Nobody else. They can impact your life. They can do a lot of damage to you. And that is true. I personally went through that. It broke me. I was broken so many times, I lost the count. But I fully understand it's not them, it's me who will create my life. And if I will give in, I will be in misery and my life will be horrible.
Yeah. Well, we can't escape having influences from other people. We live in a society.
Yes, and people will do things, and weather will happen, and politics and economy, all these things will be happening. It's just we have to. That's what empowered me, Angelica. That's what empowered me when I fully understood that what I will do with it, that's what counts. So, and with God's help, you can break through, you can pick yourself up. There were times when I wish I did not exist. I wish I did not even want to get up and fight for my life. But the Lord picks you up, So with the Lord as a team, I think you can really be unstoppable.
Yeah, you can make a change.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I wanted to ask you if you could summarize our conversation and give us really important points, key points that we can take with us and implement into our lives. What would that be?
I think the key points would be understanding that it's your own choices that creates your life, nobody else. You don't blame anybody, but take responsibility, because that's the only way how you will feel empowered and how you will be able to create your life the way you desire. Victim mentality will work against you. You will lose the game as soon as you start blaming somebody. And if it's not your choices, but outer circumstances created something in your life, understand that from that point when something happens, you take responsibility. It's your choice that will create further life. So basically, it all comes back again, circle, it's your choice.
Yes.
Choices that you make create your life. Choices that you make after the problem, whatever happens, will create further life,
Yes.
So it all
That's
comes
wonderful.
back to a choice.
Yeah, it's very important.
And it's important to understand. See, I'm so burning. I have such a passion for this topic because so many times I hear people lead their life in misery and they blame and they complain and they feel that pain because somebody else hurt them. Somebody else really hurt them.
They can't let it go.
And they cannot let it go. But that's the thing, that it creates that mentality of a victim. And as a victim, you cannot take charge of your life. You cannot live a full life because you feel like somebody else crushed you. So it's very important to understand, not to blame yourself, but to understand how powerful you are. The choices that brought you here, different choices will bring you to whatever you want to, So I really want to shout out to the world, forgive who you need to forgive, let it go, and you know, see what you want to create in life, and by making different choices, create the life that you are longing to live.
Yeah, stop being a victim and become a victor.
Yep, absolutely. No victim, victor only.
Yeah, and I would like to ask you, if you have any questions or comments about this subject, please leave us below the video and we will answer them as best that we can. And if you would like to see or hear a subject discussed here, also let us know.
Right, because there are so many things that maybe we don't even know, or we cannot even come up with that idea. So let us know, and in the end, we'll just say, choose life. The Lord has given us life and death, and He says choose life. So make a wise choice, right? Choose life, choose to be unstoppable. And we will say see you for now, and until the next time.
Bye-bye.